Hello everyone. I'm going to give a few minutes just to see if anybody hops on while I'm on live today. I'm not one that likes to go live, but I truly feel in my heart that right now, at this moment, somebody needs to hear this word. Or maybe somebody's heard this word before, but they need to be reminded of it. So I'm just going to wait for just a minute and then I'm going to get right to it. It's going to be short and sweet and to the point. But I know that this word is for somebody else here this evening. And I pray that right now, Lord, that whoever is meant to hear this word right now or needs to be reminded of this word today, God, that you would lead them to this video, that you would lead them here right now with us, God. And Lord, I pray that you would accomplish the purpose for which you have sent this word in Jesus' name. So I'm going to get right on and straight to it, guys. I was sitting here as I got off of work this evening and just spending some time with the Lord. And he reminded me of something today. He reminded me as I was studying about like the peace of God, and I was just seeking some guidance and direction and some things, and he reminded me of the story of Joseph. For those of you that don't know about Joseph, this is going to be very short and paraphrased, okay? If you want to get to know more about his story, it's in Genesis, okay? So Joseph, he had a dad. His father and his mom, his father had him at an older age. He had all kinds of other brothers, but Joseph was the son of his old age. And so the son of his old age, he loved Joseph. He loved Joseph so much. He loved him so much that the brothers started to become jealous of that, okay? They started to see that their dad was giving more attention and time maybe to Joseph and made him a coat of many colors. Like I said, if you get in there, you'll know the story. It's in Genesis. Well, long story short, one day Joseph's dad tells him to go and check on his brothers. They were out somewhere in the field doing something, working. He said, I want you to go check on your brothers and make sure they're all right. So Joseph goes at his dad's command, and he goes to check on his brothers. And as he is approaching his brothers are already plotting against him. They're already plotting against how they are going to try to destroy him, okay? This is real life, guys. This is not just a story in the Bible that is make-believe. This is real. This story really happened. So anyway, they're plotting to try to kill him. And so long story short, they decided, thanks to one of their brothers, it's like, we can't do that. We can't kill him. One of their brothers had a little bit of a conscience, okay? So he says, instead of killing him, we can throw him in a pit. So that's what they do. They throw Joseph into this pit, and they tear off his coat that their father had made him, the coat of many colors, and took it back to their father to say that Joseph had died, basically. And so, long story short, then Joseph goes through one trial after another trial. He gets not only thrown in the pit, then he's sold as a slave. Then he works in Potiphar's house, and then actually God starts to promote him within the Potiphar's house. So Potiphar, he works at his right hand basically, and he's taking care of things in the palace. Well, then Potiphar's wife decides to try to seduce him, Joseph, and tries to get him to basically get in trouble, okay? She wanted him, he didn't want her, and he got as far away from her as fast as he could. And he ran, and then she screamed, trying to accuse him that he was trying to seduce her, which wasn't the true story. So he gets thrown into prison, where he is in there, and he starts the Lord starts speaking to him through people's dreams, and he starts to help the baker and somebody else in there. He interprets their dreams, and he says, remember me, remember me. And neither one of them remember him, okay? But eventually, somebody says he's had a dream, so they say Joseph knows how to interpret dreams, so he goes and interprets the dream. And then he gets out, and then he becomes promoted, and then he saves the world during a famine, and the country during this famine of 7 years, okay? So, along this time when they are giving food to those that were in the famine, Joseph, guess what? Joseph, his brothers, start to come up the road. Yes, these were the brothers that what? Betrayed him, turned against him, tried to kill him, tried to destroy him, okay? I want you to remember that. But his brothers come up, and they don't see him, but he sees them, but they don't see him at this time. And so they're invited to come in, and basically they were put under trial. At this moment, Joseph could have chose to either be bitter or better. Bitter or better. He could have been, and he had every right, guys, to be bitter. To be bitter with his brothers who had just tried to destroy him, tried to betray him, that were jealous of him. That he had every right to be bitter. But eventually he dealt with his emotions. He dealt with all the stuff that, can we all say we all got stuff? I don't care how close you are to Jesus or how far away you are from Jesus. We all have stuff that we have to deal with. Things that go on internally in our minds and our hearts that we have to deal with, we have to face. That's called life. But in this moment, he finally puts them under trial, and they have to he's trying to prove to see if they have changed since that day. And he eventually finds out that they have changed, they were repentant, so he starts bawling his eyes out. And then he reveals who he is. And there's something that he said that is bringing this whole message all together, guys, is that he spoke to them and he said, what you meant for evil in my life, what you meant to send to try to destroy me and to try to kill me. Can I rephrase that? What the enemy, who is the enemy? The devil. The devil is a thief. He is a liar. He comes to what, guys? Steal, kill, and destroy. That is the devil's mission. And I don't know about you all, how many of us in this world are seeing that run rampant in this country? People that are seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. Okay? So, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's his job. But he tells his brothers, Joseph tells his brothers, he said, what you meant for evil in my life, what you sent to try to destroy me, to disrupt me, to try to kill me, and destroy God's purpose for my life, God has turned it around for my good, Joseph said, and for the good of others, and for God's glory. Sit with that for just a minute, guys. God takes what the enemy meant for evil to try to distract us, to try to derail us, to try to destroy our hearts and our lives, to try to get us off of God's will, God's purpose, God's plan for our lives. What the devil sent, that weapon that he sent to try to form in our life, to try to stop us, to distract us, or to try to derail us or destroy us, to take us off of the good path. What the devil meant for evil, God said, guys, he will what? He will take what the enemy meant for evil. He will turn it around for your good. Yes, you, child of God, that loves the Lord, that's trying to live your life for the Lord, that's trying to live right in the eyes of God and trying to be at peace with God and with others. You, child of God, what the enemy meant in your life to try to stop you, to try to hinder you, to try to derail you from God's purpose and plan for your life, What the enemy meant for evil, God said he will turn it around for your good and his glory. Can I repeat that? What the enemy meant, what he sent, that weapon that was formed against you. Guys, let's get real. How many of us have dealt with the weapon that the enemy has sent, a fiery dart, an arrow thrown by him to try to destroy us, try to destroy our lives, to try to disrupt us, to try to hinder God's work for our life? What the enemy meant for evil in our lives, God said what? He will turn it around for your good. You're good, Melissa. You're good. And for his glory. And I'm just going to add this to it, that for the good of others. Had Joseph not been thrown into that prison, had he not been thrown into the pit by his brothers, had he not gone through one trial after another, had he not gone through those things, would he be able to stand there in that moment when there was 7 years of a famine, guys? 7 years. Put 7 years. 7 years of a famine to try to save that country. Had he not gone through it, he would not be able to stand there in that moment in front of his brothers, find that reconciliation, but also not just to bring reconciliation with his brothers, but with his dad. And also, he got a new brother he didn't even know he had. So it was a beautiful story at the end. But during the beginning and the middle of that story of Joseph, it was rough. And I don't know how many of you all today are going through some rough stuff. Can we just get real? Life is hard. I wish I could say it's always happy and sunshine and beautiful. And it's not reality, guys. You know, in this world, he said in John 16:33, he said, in this world, we will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for he has already overcome the world. So I want to encourage you today. What the enemy meant, what he has sent to try to destroy your life, God's going to turn it around for your good and for the good of others and for his glory. And I just want to say to you guys, watch and see what he will do in your life if you just let him. Seek his face, seek him and say, God, I know that this weapon was formed against me, and it may have been a weapon from a person, but ultimately that weapon was sent by the enemy. So whatever conflict, whatever trial you're dealing with right now, guys, God is going to turn it around for your good and for you, the good of others, and for his glory. Watch and see what God's going to do through that trial you're in right now. Watch and see what he's going to do when you get through. And I say you're going to get through it. You're going to get through whatever you're dealing with right now. You're going to go through and you're going to get on the other side, and God will be glorified. And he will turn it around for your good. You got to believe it. Hold on to that and be encouraged today that he is not going to let nothing stop the God's purpose and plan for your life. And no person, no situation can stop God's plan for your life today. God bless you guys. Have a great evening.